Normally swells up here. This will sort of become the negative edge. It'll flow down that way. And I put a lot of fallen dead wood and mud and stuff to try to build this up, cause it to continue along that hillside. I've actually had pretty good success, but it needs steady maintenance. It's not at any self-sufficient point right now. Water looks muddier than it normally does because I've been stirring it up. You see, I've piled mud and stuff dug up from up under there on this side. And I let this water swell in this area as I don't want it to get too high and start spilling off that way and carve out that dam that I've built. And so I think it's time to drop the water level a little bit. I don't want to drop it too much because, you know, I don't want my fish drying up. So I'm just doing it a small section at a time. And I've come in here and let it flow to this point. And then this is all still kind of stopped up, but it's like a sponge of mulch. There's another area at the other end where that log is, where the chainsaw is. Hey everybody. Where I freed it up to flow. Let a little bit more sunlight in here. But I just got to be careful about the way I do this because I don't want the fish or the tadpoles or anything like that to be harmed while I'm building this creek. This is, I guess, a 2-year project. My day, well, see, I always make it a point that even if I'm having a bad day, to turn it into a good day. And it didn't start off too good just because I didn't sleep good. But I've been out here working and watering my trees, and I'm feeling a lot better. I'm starting to get thirsty. That Arkansas black apple tree that looked like it was dying, I still don't know if it's dead or not. I'm still taking care of it, but I bought its replacement today in case it does die. If it lives, I'll have 2 of them. And I've planted it. Come out here with a chainsaw and give myself access, or easier access, to a lot of these places again. And give my chickens new hay. See, like this, I don't have to, I can step over it. This used to be where I had to do the limbo. I had to crawl over it or duck under it. Now I can just step over it, which I'm going to finish cutting. I'm going to cut another cut there, roll it off there, cut it up to pieces, and let it rot for topsoil over there around my fruit trees. So this is a other area I was talking about. I'm not unstopping all this, but I just want to, it was stopped up under there. It's kind of harder to dig when a tree's over something. So I went ahead and leveled this part out. That way when I do start bringing the water back this way, I don't have to work around that log. I've already done that hard part first. And I carved some more out the very end of it. It's probably time that that bucket's filled back up with water and I can water some fruit trees. Also, this rotten stump, I broke it up and put it on top of that new apple tree. But then I wanted to anchor it a little better to the ground. I put like 8 gallons of water in the hole. It was all muddy and soft, so I put like a sand in kind of a donut shape over that rotten tree bark, and then I'm gonna put mulch over that. Still got some more of the clay from this part here. That way this doesn't fill up as much before it drains here. I gotta be real careful with this, just because I'm trying to get the balance just right where I can get a year-round creek where the water is slow enough that it always has water in it, but I don't want it stagnant and having mosquito larvae in it. And I just want to get the pond's water level up higher too. This area here, if you've seen it in some videos, I pulled one of the trees out of it in another tree because just when it rains and stuff, some of them cinder blocks that were on top of it, because I'll show you from around this side. All these trees got turned up under, and there were cinder blocks in the dirt around the roots, and now I don't want them falling on my head. So I went ahead and got them to fall. But the Hurricane Helene, it turned over all these trees. And when these trees turned up with their roots, made like a little cave thing up under there a little bit, where water pools up sometimes. It's not a real mountain, but I can get up here. Hope that won't fall down through the dirt. Let's see this place. Oh shit! This piece here feels rather solid. We're in a dragonfly. See all down. See this is a high point up this way. Just like there's a high hill on the other side of that swell. And all this valley, when enough rain comes, it all floods. So there's mostly willow trees in that area. Now there'll be several years where it doesn't flood, but every now and then it will. And I got a plan for that. When I start opening up light and putting a strip of fruit trees in there. Hey, when a frog, I don't know if I caught it on camera in time. I moved the lining because remember the water gets up here and there's still way more area to go there. So I figured I could dig that out and hold more water with it. So I used some of that dirt to repot some things, some of it I put back in the pond so there could be stuff for water plants to grow. See, this is where I've put the new Black Arkansas apple tree to replace the one that's not looking good at all. This is the one that's not looking good at all. A lot of the branches still seem alive though, but every leaf is dead on it. And it might come back. It might be doing fine. Like the color on this looks good. It's flexible. I'm watering it. But you know, I'm not gonna hold my breath. That tree might die. It might not be okay come spring. Now the top of it here looks kind of okay with the color. Maybe it lives, I don't know. But just in case, got another one. They're saying it's going to be a dry winter too. I guess I got that new flue that's coming out. Yeah, it's overflowing. It's full. But I don't really care if it overflows too much because it'll go down in this low point. This is kind of shaped like a donut so that the lavender doesn't get too wet, but kind of holds water there in the bottom. It feels like some of it's coming out this way. I wouldn't really care if it flowed out in that valley and watered them. I'm not gonna just waste all the water though. I'm about to start. But I'm impatient waiting on that hose. When it goes through 300 foot of hose, there's almost no water pressure at the other end. See, this tree, I think it's only alive below the root graft. But I'm going to keep watering it because I can just graft the other peach varieties on top of that root graft. Right now, I'm just trying to keep everything alive if I can. And then I'll just see what I'm looking at after in the spring. Not too much longer, it'll be time to prune them and shape them up. I can get a lot more done if I put the camera down. I probably will wind up doing that. I bought this tool It's supposed to be like some type of sling blade like type deal to be able to cut grass without a lawnmower. And it ain't worth a fuck. I wish I wouldn't have bought it. It's like between $20 and $30. I thought maybe in the meantime I'd come cut a lot of this grass to mulch these fruit trees and to keep the moisture down in the chicken pen. But it's so dull. They're scared of people getting cut nowadays. They don't make anything sharp enough. I might just sit this up against the chicken pen, let y'all watch the chickens live while I water these trees. The water level. The little citrus trees are all alive. I didn't expect them to make it through the heat like they did, but I guess they're a lot tougher than I thought they were. I so hope I get enough money saved up that I can just, oh shit, I didn't mean to scare her. While I water the trees, I gotta figure out a way to prop this camera up. Infrared light's hotter than some of the other lights, and these green plants reduce. I'm out of breath a little bit. Hey, something might get in there. Green cools things down. Leaves are able to absorb, or some kind of way they lessen the infrared light. There's a little baby one out. I thought I saw the baby. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is back there. How was your day? Well, my voice is a little bit different because I got the flu. And I'm thirsty. I'm about to probably go to town and get me something to drink. It's pretty hot. I'll probably come back out here. I'm not going to leave before I get more water on these trees, but I'm going to come back when it cools off. I think I'm going to go give Brittany some driving lessons and let her drive on them back roads. We might go fishing or something. And then either come back out here, it cools off, or when it's dark or something with my headlamp, and keep watering trees. I'm gonna get another pump in this pond too and speed things up. The sawdust from the workshop, from the non-treated wood, has really helped at absorbing water for them blueberry bushes. All the other years, they start looking kind of like these peach trees in the hot part of the summer before the fall. They take a hit and their leaves yellow, but not this year. Most of them stayed really green, and that sawdust helped. I'm gonna be putting it around these fruit trees too, probably. I don't want to put all the water just right up there on the trunk and have it rot. Just imagine kind of a donut shape around the drip line where water, like imagine if rain was raining on the tree or on the edge of the branches where the water would drip down at. That's kind of where you want your roots. You don't want, and you want to water it enough that it's not just a shallow amount of water up top to the topsoil. You want the roots to be able to go deeper in the ground. Well, it's more drought resistant. You also don't want all this grass and all these weeds and all this other stuff growing around here. But doing some of what I'm supposed to do is better than doing none of it. I really gotta make more time to be out here. And I need to just go ahead and buy another lawnmower. Because imagine I get out here one day or 2 days with a lawnmower and cut all this. I'll have plenty of mulch to go around these trees, plenty of straw for the chicken pen, and it'll be a lot easier to walk around out here. Less risk of snakes. I opened the door a few times today, but the chickens acted like they didn't want to come out here. They're like, nah, it's hot, which is unusual. But I guess they're not bored because they got all that wheat straw to scratch around and eat the wheat out of. They got plenty of chicken feed in there. They got plenty of water in there, and they're just not interested. Here's a blueberry. Plant right. I got this camera wobbling so much. There's some new growth on it. Sort of need to get back out there. I'm just randomly watering this one, that one, all scattered out chaotically. If I keep working though, I'll eventually get to it all. Really, I need to get me something to drink and come back. I get too thirsty, I'm gonna give up and quit. This is all pond water. All that brown water you see at the pond, it's brown like that because of all kind of vegetation, mostly maple leaves that have fallen in that pond, have broken down and put a lot of minerals in that pond water. That's what gives it its brown color. And then I'm pumping the pond water on these trees. And all this is uphill of that pond. So there's something biting the hell out of me. What I do? That's some kind of. If I could, maybe one day I'll be able to talk Brittany into just holding the camera for me. Here's an olive tree. Maybe I baby this olive tree too much. All these other trees are out here turning yellow and stuff, and I'm always watering the olive trees. But I don't know if anybody else has any olive trees in Wheeler County, Georgia. I might be the first person to put olive trees. And they got churches called Mount Olive Church, Olive Street, Olive Road, and they ain't got a single olive tree ever been on any of those roads. What took them so long? They just been planting peanuts and soybeans and cotton. Pine trees, soybeans, cotton, and peanuts. That's about all that ever gets planted around here. I got honeybees though. So I like it when there's double and triple benefits for things. Like these fruit trees. When these peach trees had peaches on them, they were like canteens. If I was out here working and I was thirsty, I could grab a peach and eat it and get plenty of juice. But also the pollen and the nectar was feeding the bees. And I could also give surplus fruit to the chickens. Same thing with sunflowers. The birds eat the sunflowers. People eat the sunflowers. Sunflowers makes pollen and nectar for the bees. So the peach tree, if I didn't have bees, it could give me peach gum. It could give me the peach gum for flavoring, and it could give me peaches to eat. But since I have bees, I'm able to derive another benefit. honey from the nectar of the peach trees. So I highly recommend, if you've got any kind of vegetables, have animals. They work with each other. The manure helps the soil. There's lots of times there's parts of the plant that you don't eat that the animals can eat. Like, people talk about the numbers and they leave a lot of factors out. Like, they talk about, hey, if we planted on this much acres, we could make so much more food off of beans than cattle, and they say silly things like that. But the land that cattle own oftentimes can't support the type of vegetables they're talking about. It's like very poor soil. They can only make grass that we can't eat, but then we can eat the products of the cow. So a lot of the vegan arguments for why we should just be having vegetable agriculture instead of animal agriculture don't really hold up. If you want a healthy living soil, you're gonna need animals shitting and pissing on it. And then it's just people, they get emotionally attached to certain animals and not other ones. They'll kill so many different kind of animals that don't look cute to save one or two that are cute or endangered. And I don't understand another thing. Like, you've got people trying to regreen the desert in the state coming in and saying that's an invasive species. An invasive species in the desert? I mean, isn't that what you want? There's like almost no plants growing there. Everything's dying. A guy puts a type of ornamental cactus out there, starts making shadows and fruit for animals in the desert. He's working to regreen the desert. He gets in trouble with the law. You can't have that there. It's a fucking desert. Shit. Probably need some invasive greens, plant species. It's a desert. I think we got too many people making the laws in the city that are so far removed from nature, and they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't know what they're doing. And I know sometimes I get some people, I'm going to read the comments in a section, the sun's in my eyes. Sometimes people will make certain, like when I dug the canal with my hands, they're like, use a backhoe. I can't afford a backhoe. I got to just work with what I got. But everywhere where I'm at used to be thorns. All of this. See how tall that weed is right there? It's about as tall as me. There's a bunch of them out here of different sorts, and a bunch of blackberry briars. And I got out here and did donuts with my truck over and over again and flattened it all out. And then I chopped it up with a hand tool, with like a Maddox, like a hoe and axe combination tool. And I just tilled every bit of it up and planted peas for several years. And then I started planting trees, fruit trees, where I used to have my vegetable garden. And I spread a lot of manure out here before I ever planted any trees or anything. And now it's kind of started to have some time to break up. When I had the peas and everything out here, I constantly carried leaves and pine straw from the woods to mulch it, so I didn't have to have as much. I didn't use any pesticides or any herbicides. I just suppressed the weeds with mulch, held water with mulch. Eventually the mulch breaks down and adds fertility to the soil. So did all this pond water. It's probably got beneficial microbes in it. It might have some non-beneficial stuff too. I ain't worried about it though. I'll take me some ivermectin, just in case. This tree's leaves are really green, but them leaves are really just telling me I'm thirsty. I'm so thirsty. The shape of them and everything. Sometimes, like some of these trees, they look bad, they look dried out, but I've already put more water on them and the soil around them is wet and you don't want to overdo it or they're just gonna rot. I really stick my fingers down in the soil and feel the moisture. But pretty much every tree anywhere kind of close to where this bucket is needs water. And once I get and I'll just be bored doing the same thing. Once I get this water level low enough again, I'm gonna go off back in the woods and cut down some stuff with the chainsaw or do something. And then I'll come back, there'll be water in the bucket again, and I'll go back to watering trees. I'm gonna come out here tomorrow with a notebook paper and pencil, and I'm about to give number letter names to every single plant that I have in this area, because I've discovered 4 or 5 different olive trees I planted that I forget. I go to start looking for a place to plant a tree and pulling up weeds and stuff, and then I'll find a little 2-3 inch olive tree I forgot I planted, and then get all this labeled and wrote down. I'm 38, I can't remember stuff anymore. I gotta use a pencil. And this amount of water you see put on these trees, that's enough for each of these trees. That's just enough to get it wet before I put the actual water. They need a lot of water. I'm gonna be doing this several times. And then I'll wait a few days. If you put like a little bit of water each day, it'll grow that way, but all the roots will be real shallow. It's better to really deeply water them than wait a few days till it starts to not get dry, but start to, you know, lightly damp, almost, well, not really, like it's almost dry. Because then the roots need oxygen too. They don't only need water. There's some thyme right there. I give it some water. I forgot about it. It's a medical plant. There's the other one right there. See, it's in the grass. I can hardly see it. I need to come weed all this. It's gonna be easy to do in the winter time. And I'm wasting water too, having all this grass growing here too. But it'll get pulled up, it'll rot, it'll go back into the soil right around that tree. Or I might just put so much pine straw on it, it'll kill it and it can rot. The fungus eat it up. There's good fungi and bad fungi. So if you're just spraying fungicide everywhere, a lot of times you kill the good fungi. And now you gotta wait forever for bacteria and heat and everything to break stuff down when you could have had some help from some beneficial fungi breaking it down. They also are good about regulate. The fungi is really good about knowing what nutrition the plant needs. I was wetting that grasshopper because it's cold-blooded. It'll slow him down and make it easier for me to catch him. Because I was about to feed him to the chickens, but I don't know. I just changed my mind. I'll show him mercy today. He can just live. Chickens can eat their chicken feed. Maybe the crow will eat them. I shouldn't save him though. He'll repay me by jumping on a peach tree and eating holes out of the leaves. I would have just caught his ass and let him get ate by the chickens. These peach trees to be little made a lot of peaches though. What's cool about it, every year they're more productive than the year before, most years. I don't need to say this again, but I'm gonna say it again. Old Peebo said I'd be dead before I ever ate a fruit off of any of these fruit trees. And I was right. I told you so. I told you so. So, right there. Imagine when I get old how many apples will be on those apple trees. It'll be ridiculous. There won't be no way I could eat them all. Hopefully all the commies won't abolish private property by then. Bunch of losers. I didn't inherit no property. I worked for 8 years. Now bad that sucked. Not being from no rich family. You know, oldest of 7 siblings. Not taking government handout, no EBT, nothing like that. Just working. Just working and saving up money, $140 every week with discipline for 8 years. And buying property for some loser communists to just come in and abolish private property. I hope that don't happen. I got too much work trash in my lungs for 8 years to get this property. That would suck. That would, like, I don't know. Let's see. You sound... I don't know who Smart Brain is. I got bees. Honey bees. I was talking about that earlier. If that's what you're talking about honey. If you're talking about anything else, I'm with Brittany. And let me get that. I got a little cedar tree. My grandparents, when they were young, people told them you would never sit under the shade of a cedar tree that you planted. And they proved that to be really, really, really wrong. You can drastically speed up how fast a tree grows by watering it regularly. Most of these trees live under constant stress, being underwatered, and their growth is stunted. They were really taken care of. It doesn't take as long as a lot of people think. It's not so much about, I mean, time is a factor, but a lot of it is the quality of the care. I've been a little hesitant about bringing a lawnmower out here. I know it's going to disturb wildlife. Them birds are going to be all startled. It's going to just grind up all kind of things. And it's good right now as forage for chickens. They find all kind of grasshoppers to eat. But I can't just let it go for too long. Or there'll be a velociraptor running through this grass or something. I'll be done running into a Pokemon. Can't have all that. Need to get my chainsaw. You know the 23rd Psalm where it says, your rod and staff, they comfort me. I tell you, I feel a lot of comfort walking through the woods with a chainsaw because I stopped being worried about anything. Which I normally ain't worried about anything except maybe a bunch of wild hogs or something. But suppose even a bear showed up. If you've got a chainsaw, I feel like you're good. Even if he could whip your ass while you got a chainsaw, I don't think he's going to when he hears that chainsaw crank up. And then, I mean, if he does, I don't know. I know it's probably better to have a high-powered rifle and be on a hill and see the bear before he sees you. But a chainsaw is probably a pretty good deterrent to almost any kind of animal that's forced to fight in melee combat. I don't think they want no chainsaw. A lot of them don't want no pitchfork, much less a chainsaw. But I can't leave my chainsaw out here. Also, I need to burn it. I just can't keep on working too much more without getting something to drink. I'll be overheated and lost a lot of my... This, normally you want to cut the bottom of the tree first so it doesn't bind up and pinch your chainsaw. But I'm not really able to do that because these two trees are on top of each other. So I don't want it to bind up. So I thought maybe I could cut a wedge by a wedge so it's got more give in it. But honestly, I've never really had this problem before. I've got two trees on top of a tree. And so I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. But a lot of times that's how you figure out. I might just chop the rest of that out. There's another, some of this. Still got the water on filling up that bucket, or did I flip the switch? I don't remember. I'll have to check that before I leave. Further up this artificial, see, this is basically a swell being built along this hillside to collect all the water that rolls off this hill and funnel it into the pond. And the dirt that I dig out, normally I would put it on this side so it compresses the soil on this side and makes water resist go that way. So that it does kind of just roll up here and pile up. But I have, you see how there's this dirt here? It started off at about this level. Oh, so all that, maybe 2 foot of height, has been built up from what's been dug out of here. And nothing put on this side, everything on that side. So now what I'm digging to grade it out and unstopping it and everything, the dirt from that, instead of piling it on this far side, I've been going as far upstream as possible, where the low point is for it to spill out in, if it breaks that dam that I built, it'll spill out into the woods there. And so any of this dirt that I dig out, I'm gonna walk it all over there and dump it over there. But this is gonna be a lot more nice when I come in here with my chainsaw, clear a path out through here and be able to move my wheelbarrow back and forth, get in this trench with a shovel, throw the dirt into the wheelbarrow, roll the wheelbarrow and dump it, instead of digging it with my hands, putting it in a bucket, walking it, limboing it up and climbing around trees and everything else. But it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be one of the Wheeler County wonders of the world. I have the hanging gardens. I'm gonna have the chinoopas on the pond. I'm gonna have the cathedrals. I'm out here building civilization. Imagine civilization or Age of Empires and you just got one villager. You're in the Stone Age. Well, maybe not the Stone Age. That's where I'm at. You come in next week, I might have built me a town center. But look at this though, look at this. This used to not be here. This used to not be water. This used to be rain on this hill, quickly just rushing through down that hill and off the property, under the road into the next piece. Now, it has to take a detour. Now, first it has to come along here and soak into this dirt and move all the way down that way into the pond. And then it overflows the pond, goes into the same place it was originally going anyway, and flows out off the property. So instead of it just rushing off real quick and causing erosion and everything, it just sort of seeps and slowly creeps along here as a temporary creek, goes into the pond, and the pond level overflows, it goes back out that way. And what this does is it lets there be, instead of a bunch of mud pits forming and stuff after rains, there's a steady amount of a small body of water with mosquito fish that eat the mosquito larvae. Used to, I would have had 100 mosquitoes land on me being out here. You couldn't walk through the woods out here without constantly having mosquitoes land on you. But now, instead of it being a bunch of mud puddles everywhere, it's a body of water where dragonflies can breed and frogs and mosquito fish and everything else. And it's reduced the mosquito population a lot. So the part I was talking about where I'm going to put this dirt and all the dirt and stuff that I dig out, and I'm going to put it here where all these fallen rotten trees and stuff are. That's, see how it's real low right there. It's real low right there. That all throughout there. The storm has made a tangling mess out of these woods. Almost no tree doesn't lean in some kind of weird way or trying to find an angle that the mosquito fish will show up on. I'm just gonna take a few more steps this way. Oh, there went one. There went a bunch of them, but I don't know. They're in there. Dang, those are some baby ones. Real little mosquito fish. Wow. But they can eat a lot of mosquitoes. I think like they said like one of them can eat more than 100 a day or something, mosquito larvae. Here's another overturned tree that didn't have any kind of deep tap root, and the mat of roots comes up and it makes a dam. There went a lot of water kind of trickles down here from that valley. It piles up behind here, and then it flows up between the roots and everything, and it comes up here into this canal. I dug this canal from that end all the way to here, and then the tree fell across it. But when the tree fell across it, it kind of slowed water from just rushing into this and piling up behind it before it flows down here. And I don't have a problem with that. That kind of accomplishes something that I do anyway. The same sort of principle. Up here, oh, I gotta come further this way. The tree, after it fell off over, it kind of makes me think that I'm further to the end than I am a lot of times. Because used to, that tree wasn't in the way. I'd walk a straight line and get to this point faster. So this, almost never, but sometimes if there's a lot of heavy rain, water will run from the property on the other side of the dirt road that way, and it'll trickle down as a stream. See where that magnolia tree is? And it'll trickle down in the stream, and it will come here and go there and go down there into that creek. So what I did is I dug this hole here so that instead of it just trickling down and flowing into the other creek, it trickles to here, and it has to fill this all the way up. All the whole dirt from there, I put here in a crescent shape. And so it has to fill all this up, and then when it's full, then it can flow out. And so what happens is sometimes this is full of water for wildlife to be able to get something to drink. And, you know, like instead of there being a heavy rain and there being a trickle of water for that one day and then it being gone, there's a trickle of rain that day, and then for weeks there's a puddle of water here, and then it dries up and it's gone. And this is higher than that. So eventually the weight of the water is going to seep down in little holes on the edge. It's going to trickle down out that way anyway. But what I'll probably do is, just like how there's a swell there, there'll probably be a swell dug here. And then when it overflows, it'll flow down the hill and go into that swell. This way I make these long stretches of irrigated land in the landscape that holds water. It's almost like a vein in Earth's body, you know, the water. It's almost like the earth is its flesh and the water is its blood. A lot of people point out how Bill Gates has been buying a lot of farmland. But another thing to notice is he's buying a lot of water rights. He's not just selecting farmland to monopolize food production. He's also trying to gain a monopoly on the water supply. I'd watch that Bill Gates. He just straight up says he wants most of us dead. And he's buying a bunch of shares in McDonald's, saying he's going to make the Big Mac healthier. That makes me think, don't eat a Big Mac. It's probably some lab-grown meat. I saw a tadpole in there. Most of it's mosquito fish. There's a whole bunch of gnats flying around right there. They gonna wish they hadn't have done that. A dragonfly's gotta notice them. There's a lot of dragonflies out here. He might be... Oh, I still ain't dumped that dirt. Now this right here, I don't know if it's from the vehicles. There are a certain type of reed plant that filters that out. I've tried to get so many plants to filter the water, and it's just fire ants will get on these water plants and just eat them. like a whole lotus flower. There's a dragonfly. Didn't I tell them gnats? I was like, y'all drawing too much attention to y'allself. Y'all can't be out here just piling up in a big old mass. Y'all gonna be noticed by that dragonfly. But did they listen to me? They didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to me at all. And now this dragonfly is here just like I predicted. I told them that. So I said, you gonna get noticed. You can't just fly out in the open in a big group. Now this dragonfly's over there studying them. He's gonna do the math and predict where they're gonna be before they're gonna be there. And he's gonna go gobble up and eat a bunch of them. And I hope he does. I love you, dragonfly. These gnats annoy us. Thank you for coming in here and eating them all. Tear them up. And you know, I don't have a single gnat flying around my face. And you won't. If you got a dragonfly near you, them other insects know that dragonfly eats them. They're scared to be around it. So I like to stay in good with the dragonflies. This out here. I gotta be the beaver because I ain't got no beaver out here. I gotta build the beaver dams myself. But I'm kind of bullshitting because I'm pretty much decided that my work shift's over. I'm about to take a break. I'm gonna go hang out with Brittany. We're gonna get us something to eat, get something to drink, and then I'll come back out here when it cools off. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I might be able to talk Brittany to coming out here and us making us some s'mores or something. I gotta decide what's coming back with. I know I ain't leaving the chainsaw in the woods. The next thing I'm doing, I'm probably gonna need to shovel close to where I'm at. Now it is good to keep your tools put up so they don't rust. But sometimes I leave them out because let's say I go put this shovel up under the shed. Before it even rains, I'm coming back out here later today and tomorrow. And what I need to dig is pretty close to where that shovel's at. And if somebody was to try to steal my shovel, they'd have a much easier time finding it in the tool shed than just walking out in the woods and expecting to randomly come across the shovel. Now, I am live streaming that, so that's not all that smart. But I don't think anybody in my live chat's just out to steal my shovel. It'd be a lot easier and cheaper to just go buy one. Another thing is when I first dug, I split my fingernail so many times digging this out. And a root catch my fingernails and stuff. But now that water flows through here, all them roots that cross started to rot and I can chop them up with the shovel. And when I come back in here to redig this out, it's going to be a lot easier this second time than it was the first time. There's a willow tree. There's free headache medicine. There's free blood thinner. You can make a medicine with the willow bark. And you can make a tea with the leaves too. I'm gonna catch one of those deer lacking. I'm gonna catch them slacking. So I'm gonna be on the other side. And they probably gonna come out onto that other side to drink water, eat maple leaf, the seeds. There's an elephant ear plant. And they'll probably come into that part right there to eat some grass. Sometimes them deer shit on the other side of the pond, damn up here. But one day, I'm probably gonna catch me one with an arrow or something. I want to get me some goats. Another elephant ear. I ain't hardly ever watered them. I wired my switch upside down just because it would save wire and save a punch out on the junction box. So up is off and down is on. I could probably leave that. I need to put this up. I'm gonna put my chainsaw in the truck. I ain't risking it out here. Now, I said that tool ain't worth a fuck cutting the grass and weeds, but you know, the chainsaw, I'm not advising that you do this because it can be dangerous. That chainsaw, you can hold it like that, it's better than a weed eater in my opinion. I don't know, I guess it's a heavier tool to be swinging back and forth, but trees, briars, weeds, everything. See? It didn't even overflow. I timed that just right. I'd be bored just sitting here waiting on that to fill up. So I've went to the woods. Didn't get a lot done in the woods, but I had fun. I got a little bit done. I moved one bucket of dirt on the dam over there. But mostly it was to kill time till that filled up with water. I got the water turned off so I can leave out of here. Already got the chickens pinned up. What the heck? I sound like a woodpecker pecking on something it ain't supposed to peck on. Where's he at? Was he on the telephone pole or the light pole? I think I've carried enough water. None of these trees have enough water, but I mean, if I'm spreading it out thin, trying to give them something to hold them over till I come back, that one's probably had enough. I probably should give this one some more. I hear about that Charlie Kirk shooter. I still think more people are involved than the single shooter.